Hey, it's your boy Jayhardcore, Hardcore Boxing News. And I got my guy with me today. We got Coach Greg Hackett. How you doing today, bro?
How you feeling?
Man, I'm just keeping life simple as usual and living a dream. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
All right, all right. Come on with that yes, sir stuff, bruh. Hey,
What's going
man,
on?
I'm all right. For the people that don't know who you are, that have been living up underneath a rock, tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do, bro.
Greg Hackett, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, fighter, boxing coach for the last 10, 11 years. Um, that's about it. I'm in the gym every day.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Speaking of being in the gym every day, what you got coming up? Anything, any fights coming up with any of your fighters? What you got
Yeah,
going on?
I got March 11th, which is next Saturday. Jabril Noble going for his fifth win, 6 round bout
Nice.
against a kid named Carlos Ramos.
Okay, cool. Now, I was seeing that Hank said that he was showing his new outfit that he's gonna be wearing in this next fight. What is that next fight? Because I know you are his coach.
No, I don't know. I think he's fighting in April, but I ain't been coaching him for this one.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so it's been in April. I know I checked it on Box Rack and I didn't see anything. Uh,
Yeah, I think
so
it's April.
okay, bet. Hey, did you catch any of them fights last night?
Yeah, I caught the fights. I watched them. You talking about on Showtime, right?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah, I watched them fight.
I really enjoyed the Herd fight, man. Them boys rumbled in that particular fight, man. What do you think about that particular fight?
Yeah, it was a good. I think it was a good fight overall, but I think Jared Hurd just he lost a step and he's struggling, getting it back. Um, I think he don't realize like how big he is, you know what I mean, and what exactly the ability he does have. But you know what I mean, I don't know, it's like he's fighting down in competition. You know what I mean, he's struggling with these guys and he shouldn't be. You know what I mean? I think he's going through a lot. He got to clear his mind. You know what I mean? Because he still got some more fight in him, but it's not happening for him.
Yeah, I mean, that kid he was fighting last night, man, was seriously trying to make a name for sure.
Yeah,
He
he
was
did.
yeah, he was taking all those punches, man, and he was giving them right back out. He kept his head right on Hur's chest, and he just
Yeah,
went for broke, man. I'm gonna be truthfully honest. The kid impressed me. That was my first time seeing him fight, to be honest.
yeah,
But
my first time too.
yeah, but he looks like he's definitely going to be somebody to reckon with. What you think about that?
Yeah, I think he could possibly make a name for himself. He 24 years old. He's still kind of young.
Mm.
Strong kid up against adversity with only one loss. Been in some tough fights. I seen his.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, when I seen Herds,
I
can you hear me? Just
him
look like
beating definitely. Yeah, I can hear you.
okay, yeah. For a minute, your screen then when
I
you're
can
on the
hear
still
you.
screen now. There you go. Can you hear me now? Yeah, well, he gets that together.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can hear
that
you.
okay, cool. Man, did you see that her spit a piece of his lip into the spit bucket, man? Did you see that?
Yeah, I didn't know it. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know his lip was cut that bad. It looked like he was definitely missing a piece of his lip. I don't know how that happened, but you know what I mean. I hope he get that fixed up. That was ugly.
Yeah, man. I seen him spit it right into the spit bucket, man. But he's definitely a soldier because he still wanted to go on, man. You know. Do you think they should have stopped the
Yeah,
fight? What you think?
I mean maybe it was a thing they saw that it can get worse. You know what I mean? And when I seen the doctor look at it, he immediately was like, nah. So I guess it was bad, but I didn't really see it fully. You know what I mean? He had a towel in his mouth leaving the ring, so I guess it was bad.
Yeah, I guess so, because that's the first time I really seen a fight get stopped because of a cut on the lip. You know what I mean? So it must have, when they looked
Yeah.
inside, they must have seen something that was real bad looking for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and the fight, the main card, uh we
Meg
had,
Sayo.
yeah, against
Figueroa.
Figueroa.
Brandon Figueroa, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good fight, man. At times, man, they had me falling asleep. I'm gonna be honest. Me and me and my guy from Mill City Boxing, we did another live on it yesterday, man. And that one, boy, had us. It was like paint drying, man. They was throwing a lot of punches, but a lot of them actually wasn't hitting each other, you know. And Brandon Figueroa, both of them are actually known for exciting fights, but that one wasn't exciting to me. What was your take on it?
Yeah. I thought it was a great fight, honestly. Magsayo didn't show, you know what I mean, what he usually does with the power and things like that. I think Figueroa was just too big, was wearing him out throughout the rounds, you know what I mean, working him from a distance and up close.
Mm-hmm.
I think Magsayo just never been pressed like that before. And I think, that's what got him the loss. Of course, the holding calls, he got 2 points taken away for holding, which I felt like was valid because he was doing a lot of holding. But at the same time, it was like he just couldn't keep up with that pace. In the beginning, he was doing pretty good, but as the rounds went on, he couldn't keep up with the pace.
Yeah, I now unanimous decision. I couldn't see a unanimous decision though. Me personally, I thought it should have been way closer than that. I don't know what they were looking at, but like I
Yeah,
said,
it's all in who's judging.
yeah. That is so true, man. It's so true. But I did had Figueroa winning, but I just didn't. I had it more of a split decision
Yeah,
opposed to a unanimous decision.
yeah,
Hey, moving on, man. I wanted to get your, because one thing I know about you, man, you know about the old school boxing and you know about what's happening now and the new stuff and everything. But I want to talk about the state of boxing right now, how
yeah.
boxing is right now, and what do you think needs to change about boxing right now?
I mean, I think the number one thing is too many belts. It's too many belts
Mm,
because you don't know who's really the best. You don't know who's the best because the belts are being spreaded around, and then for the guys who don't have a belt, they making up belts for them. Also, it's too many guys in each division calling themselves number one guy, and the fights are nowhere near close to happening. So I think the belts should be chopped down. It should be one big belt, and I think these guys should be forced to fight each other. You know what I mean? But it's not the fighter's fault. It's it's the guys who run the business. They thinking money first, so the fighters are following up with wanting to be popular on social media, wanting to be a so-called star, stuff like that. That's what they more focused on. So nobody want uh, to look like a loser, so they scared to put it on the line. You know what I mean? And it's not really the fighters, it's the promoters and the big guys, the managers, and stuff like that.
well said. I agree with you 100% because I'm a little older in the tooth now, and it ain't like how it used to be. Back in the day, man, we got fights. You know what I mean? And if you
Yeah,
lost, we had an automatic rematch. The fighter was more about legacy
yeah,
instead of about the dollar. They knew that if they, brought legacy, they knew that money was going to come next. And they wanted to know who was the best between each other. You had Ray Leonard, you know what I mean? You
right.
had Thomas Hearn, you had Roberta Duran, you had Marvin Hagler. And them guys, they wanted to know who was the best in their division,
Yeah.
and they was willing to fight it out and everything. And and they let those promoters know, hey, I want to fight this guy. You know what I mean? And it stayed out there. But now with this social media and all this, it's like it's a lot of talk, a lot of rhetoric, but not a lot of fighting anymore right now. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's slowing the sport up in a way, but somehow they able to still make some of these big fights. So it's not too bad, but it's just like the back and forth bickering gets carried on a little too long. We're not seeing fights until 5-6 years later. You know what I mean? And I get it. They trying to create some type of story behind it, some type of narrative, but it gets boring sometimes. But then they surprise us with fights like Caleb Plant and David Benavidez, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. You know what I mean? You're going to get Devin Haney and Lomachenko. So there is some fights out there that's interesting to people, but it's, the game just, I don't know, it is what it is. It's a popularity contest now.
It's truly a popularity contest. And I just feel, though, that the promoters and the managers, man, are really stopping a lot of these fights from happening. And some of them actually, man, I'm going to tell you, I keep it real. I call Golden Boy promotion, I call that PC. You know what PC is, man, protection, you know what I'm saying? And you look at Jaime McGear, man, this guy has fought no one, bruh. You got what? He's like 46-0, and I mean, stuff like that makes no sense to me. It's like they go over to Golden Boy and check in. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
it makes no sense whatsoever, man. I really hope that Terrence Crawford doesn't go over to Golden Boy, man, because I already know that the WBO doesn't call the Rocha fight and everything. But me personally, man, I remain so optimistic, man, because I really want to see that Spence Crawford fight, before it get too late. You know what I mean? Both of them just had birthdays recently, and they getting older, man. But I still feel, though, that they got enough in them to give us a hell of a fight, But
yeah,
the good thing about that is they've been real quiet lately. And as you know, when things get real quiet, next thing you know, a fight pops up. So I'm hoping that they're negotiating right now in silence. And because,
it might be.
Yeah, because Keith Thurman and Spence supposed to been fighting, but we ain't heard nothing about that no more either. You know what I'm saying? So maybe the reason why we haven't is because we got a silent negotiation going on, and that's why they haven't announced Keith and Spence, because of this negotiation. That's just me being so optimistic and wanting this fight to happen so damn bad.
Right.
What do you think, bro? Do you agree on that?
It's a possibility. It could be happening because everybody's talking about the fight. They've been talking about the fight. It's a possibility. It could be happening. Like you said, I also hope that's what's happening. Because it is one of the best fights of the last 15 years. So, you know what I mean? I just hope that's the case. You know what I mean? They're being quiet because they are negotiating. But if not, I just hope they come up with some great fights behind it.
I hope so, man. I truly hope so, especially if Spence goes to 54. You know what I mean? I'd like for him to fight his guy, and him and Jermell. I'm gonna be honest. Spence said he ain't got no problem doing it.
Yeah.
So I would like to see that. I think that'd be a great rumble. You know what I mean? One of my favorite fighters is Floyd Mayweather. Now, only problem that I have about it is I feel, though, that the Mayweather blueprint, which made sure that fighters got paid more money, but yet him having that and not letting it go, it seems like people value that so bad now that they end up not taking these fights, man. So do you feel, though, that Mayweather blueprint kind of hindered the boxing.
Yeah, I think with these guys holding out and trying to remain perfect, they believe they're going to make more money. But what happens is the skills start to diminish over the time. Um, and you're not the same guy as you was last year or the 2 years before. So I honestly think it was a plan of not just Mayweather's, but certain people in the sport, to push that narrative so that these guys, begin to think that they're perfect and moving at a slower pace. That way they don't got to kick out so much money. Because the chances of another guy being Mayweather right now is not likely. A lot of those guys don't even have the same skill set. They don't have the same ability. They don't have the same type of desire, determination, to be that great. So that's why you get guys getting caught up in incidents in clubs or getting caught up in incidents in race cars and stuff like that, where they get injured and then they out of the sport for a while because they already sitting for too long. So I just think, I don't know, when I think about it, I think it was like some type of plan, because you got a lot of guys out here pretending to be that great and they not. And there's only one way to prove it is to make the fights. But if they pushing the schedule back, then it's gonna be tough to make the fights. So it's like I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not sure, man. I don't like it though.
Something you said made a hell of a lot of sense. Is there another Mayweather right now? But Mayweather is an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? Because when it came to boxing, this brother did everything correct. He was a Spartan of the game. You know what I mean? He trained like he was broke. He didn't smoke. He didn't drink. You know what I'm saying? And everything was boxing first. You know what I mean? You don't see the athletes like that anymore, where they live that Spartan life where they're not drinking, they're not smoking. You know what I mean? When Floyd partied, it was stories about as soon as he left the gym, the club, he would run home. You know what I'm saying? And it was always, he made sure that he was in 100%. He never cut corners. And any boxer that I knew that sparred with him or trained with him or anything like that, they all said the same thing. They said they never seen anybody train like how Floyd Mayweather trained. And they talk about how he still runs like crazy now. You know what I mean? He really put that road work in, man. So I asked that question, do we see a glimpse of another Mayweather starting to happen? Because you don't get the Ali's and the Bernard Hopkins and Sugar Ray Leonard's. Those people come, every 10 to 15 years. And my question is, I like that kid over in Philadelphia, Boots. Do you feel though that he can be one of the next ones like that?
He could be, because he has, he has the qualities, but depending on who's running his career or helping with his career, that'll determine what he's able to do, because you still got to get these other guys in the ring with him.
That is so true.
And the way the business is, if they don't want something to happen, it just won't happen. So it's tough.
It seems like they know how to stagnate greatness now,
it's just like it's just like in the neighborhood when you see a kid good at basketball, but not only good, he got all the qualities. He tall, he work hard, take care of his body. People will invest in him, and hope that he get there. It's the same thing, but now you got guys in the same weight class jockeying for position, and they nowhere near fighting each other, so you won't be able to tell. So that's why they won't make that money that Mayweather made. They'll make good money. Everybody think $1 million is a lot of money. It is a lot of money if you know what to do with it. But if you don't know what to do with it, it's not a lot of money. So you take these fights and you make some money, but the next time you make some money, you be done spent the money you made. And the reason I say that is because also what Mayweather did was, he made these guys believe that jewelry was a part of success, cars was a part of success, women was a part of success. And these are the things that a young man wants. So if they see it and they see it in a sport where, you know what I mean, they told these things is what you're supposed to stay away from, and then they try to follow that, a lot of them won't be able to complete the mission. You know what I mean? Indulging in those type of acts. So it's really not, I don't know, it's not likely. I can't say I don't see the next one. Yeah, there's some great fighters out here. Boots is a great fighter. Shakur is a great fighter. Uh, Spence and Crawford, great fighters, yes, but the time is not on their side. The big fights is not on their side. You know what I mean? And there's so many of them, it's hard to pick one. You know what I mean?
That is so true, man. You said a mouthful there. And I hope that the young fighters hear this message you just gave to them when you talk about the cars, the jewelry, the women, and all those type of things, that all it does is just siphon their money. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, $1 million really ain't a lot in boxing, for the simple fact you're gonna get the taxes taken out. Then after the taxes, then you got to pay your team. You know what I mean? And then you got to pay your team. Then if you got a promoter, he's taking his off the top. Then you got to also pay your manager, which could be 10% or up. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to pay sparring partners. You know, it's so much that come out of that bag, you know what I mean, that people don't understand, you know, and health insurance. Because
and that's why it's tough. But
boxing don't give you health insurance. You know what I mean? You got to get that type of stuff on your own. So you know, so these young fighters have to really realize, man, that you guys to, when you receive that money, you need to invest that money. You know what I mean? Because boxing is not guaranteed to you. This career is not forever. You know what I'm saying? And they have to actually realize that, man, you know, because they feel like every time they get that bag, oh, I'm gonna be getting another one in 3 months or 4 months. But that's not definite. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got so many boxers, man, that end up was in a fight and got hurt so bad they'll never fight again. And there's no insurance. You know what I mean? So they need to be smarter with this money. And they spending $1 million on watches and 300,000 on chains and 700,000 on cars, all for the snatch man to come back and get all that stuff, man. So they really got to wake up, to be truthfully honest, man, because this game don't love them. This game don't love them whatsoever.
Nope.
Hey, I want to pick your mind on some predictions, man. We got a couple of fights coming up. We got Plant against David Benavidez. I'd like to get your breakdown on that.
I mean, I think that's a great fight. I'm glad they're making this fight. I feel like if Caleb Plant go out there and box and apply pressure at the right times, stay behind a constant jab, he can make something happen. But if Benavidez get to him early, get to break his body up a little bit, put that hand speed and that power on him, I think it's going to be a tough night for Caleb Plant. It's one of those fights where I really can't see what's going to happen because I respect both athletes. I know what they bring to the table, and it's just one of them things for me. A lot of people picking Benavidez because he's the bigger fighter and he does in the ring to a lot of guys. But I look at it like those guys, none of those guys are Caleb Plant. You know what I'm saying? None of those guys are of his caliber. So I don't think it can happen just that easy. But I mean, who am I to say? I don't really know. But I just think it's a 50-50 fight. I think it's a toss-up. It could go either way.
I agree with you on it being a 50-50 fight. You know what I mean? Plant is very intelligent, and he got Breadman in his corner now, and that man is truly a smart coach, man. So he's definitely going to look at all Benavidez's weaknesses and make sure that Plant capitalizes on them. You know what I mean? And then when you look on the on the other side, you got Benavidez, man. They got that constant motor. He's huge. You know what I'm saying? And he
Yeah.
imposes his will on you, and he believes in just breaking a man down to a man submits. You know,
Yeah.
so which makes it just a great fight to see. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. But that's the type of fight I wouldn't put no money on, because I believe in when I bet, when I bet my money, I bet to win. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I'm not sure who's going to win that fight. You know, now if you
Right.
ask me who I think going to win it, I lean more towards the younger guy, Benavidez. You know,
Yeah.
but like I said, I wouldn't put no money on it though, not at all.
Yeah.
All right,
Close fight.
this fight hasn't been signed yet, but I am interested in this particular fight, and that's Scooter against Inoue. And so people that don't know who Scooter is, that's goodness, Cool Boy Steph,
Yeah.
and he is supposed to be fighting Inoue, and oh, I said Cool Boy Steph, Stephen Fulton, people. So make sure you all know exactly who I'm talking about. That fight
Yeah.
might be taking place in Japan, and you got Inoue coming up from 122 to 126.
No, he coming from 18. He coming from 118 to 122.
I thought his last fight he fought 22.
No, he fought 18 he fought Donaire at 18.
Okay. All right. So talk to me about that one.
I mean, that's a great fight. Inoue has shown his power, his speed, great reflexes, timing. He seems to be very serious about what he do. The only problem, I think, he really just never seen anybody like Cool Boy. I think Cool Boy just too much of an animal for him. Not in a sense like he going to wipe him out, but I think he is. After 4 or 5 rounds, I think he's gonna beat him up. Good enough where he'll get the call. I don't think he'll knock him out, but I think he'll beat him up real good. It's a good fight on paper. It's a great fight on paper. It's a great fight, you know what I mean, period, because of the height. But I don't think Inoue is that special. I think he can fight. I think he can punch, but I don't think he that special of a being for them to say that he'll beat Cool Boy, this early, you know what I mean, without really proving it at the weight class alone. You know what I mean? He's coming from smaller weight classes, fighting smaller guys, and a lot of the guys was over the hill. You know what I mean? I think this is just one of them fights where, he going to have to really prove it. And even though the pressure might be on Cool Boy going over there, I think the pressure will be on Inoue as well.
Yeah, I agree on that. I was saying also that I don't think that Inoue has ever seen anything like Fulton before. You know what I mean? He even said that he's never even fought a black fighter before. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so it's a totally different rhythm. And the way Fulton moves, man, and he's so smart in the ring. And one thing about Fulton is
Yeah.
he knows how to win. You know what I mean? He'll make a way
Yeah.
and figure out how to win. And that's what I like about him, man. He's very intelligent. You know what I mean? And I'm truly looking forward to that particular fight. I think the last prediction I want to shoot at you, and everybody just feels though that it's a wash, is Tank versus Ryan. What do you think about that fight?
Yeah. I think that's a great fight. You got 2 young men, in their primes, both undefeated. Ryan Garcia is a big kid, great height on him, great speed, sneaky power. I think his reflexes is probably top 5 in the game. I think he'll hurt you by accident, but I think where it's gonna come down to is the gritty part of the fight, where the fight starts to get ugly and they start to get inside with each other after probably like 5 rounds, 6 rounds. I think the deeper the war they get, I think he'll start to slow down and Tank will take over. And I think Tank will knock him out late in the fight, 10th, 11th round.
Yeah. I think the fight goes pretty much like how the last few Tanks fights have been going, like how the Barrio fight went and everything, where, Tank is taking in information at that particular time, filling the punches out, you know what I mean, seeing how the kid moves and everything. And once he downloads that particular information, then he starts to step it up. You know, I mean, one
Yeah.
thing about Tank, he's a cautious fighter as well. He's very poised. So he
Yeah.
just don't jump on you, you know what I mean? And that's
Right.
how he said about Barrios. He wanted to feel Barrio first before he just jumped on him like that. And a lot of people just
Right.
think they look at Tank like he's just a brute, but the boy can box as well, you know, and he showed us that when he
Yeah.
fought Isaac Cruz. When he hurt his hand, he
Yeah.
boxed that whole time and he moved beautifully and everything. You know what I mean? So he's a complete fighter, and that's what I like about him.
Yeah.
He's been in the
Yeah.
gym since he was yay high to a grasshopper. You know what I'm saying? So he done seen everything, you know, and he has been under the big lights. Now Ryan hasn't been underneath the big lights before and be able to see all this mental pressure that he's going to have to come against because of this
Yeah.
particular fight. You know what I mean? All that plays an important role, you know. And
Right.
one thing about Tank makes sure that he watches you and he waits for you to make that mistake. And as soon as you make that mistake, he will capitalize on it. Now, I'm gonna
Yeah.
give Ryan his props too. Now, Ryan, he's tall, you know what I mean? But he only relies on that hook, man. You know what I mean? And he's going to need more tools to be
Yeah.
pulled out of his toolbox, man, to be a more effective fighter. But he is long, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not sure how good he is with, you know, what word am I looking for? Controlling distance, you know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, some tall fighters got
Right.
it good. I really can't remember. Is he good with controlling distance? Do you remember?
I think he kind of sucker you in so he can hit you with that hook. He like to time that hook. At times I believe he is good at it, but it depends also who he's in the ring with. That's why they say styles make fights. Some guys
Yes.
you'll be able to keep them off you, some guys you won't. You know what I mean? So honestly, we'll be able to see that night. You know what I mean, what he's capable of.
I was impressed with him when he fought Fortuna because no one has ever stopped Fortuna, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean? But he did stop him.
Mm-hmm.
Another good thing I heard
Yeah.
about him, his coach said that he's very intelligent and he learns real
Mm-hmm.
quickly, you know? So hopefully he learns how to keep that chin down because he does keep it up in the air. And
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's that's perfect for that uppercut that Tank likes to throw, you know. So
Yeah.
I
Yes,
I
sir.
hopefully I think it's going to be a good fight, man. And I'm like you. I think it ends like 9 or 10 to be truthfully honest. Tank with a
Right.
knockout, you know. But if Tank was to win that fight, who would you like to see him fight next?
I mean, it's a bunch of guys. You got Devin. You got
Shakur.
Shakur.
Mm-hmm.
You got I mean, anybody that's just big fight for him at 35, 40, whatever. You know what I mean? But I think he'll stick around at 35 for a little bit longer. So anybody that's a good fight for him at 30, 35, I would like to see. Even 30, because I think he can still make 32 if he
He
wanted
can.
to.
He can.
You know what I mean?
I like to
So
see. I like to see him fight Haney next. You know,
yeah, that'd be a great fight.
that'd be a great fight. You know what I mean? They got history. You know what I mean, due to the
Mm-hmm.
sparring wars and everything. And I think it's time for them to put up or shut up. You know, I feel though
Yeah,
uh, that Haney, he's a smart fighter. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And he lives that Spartan life. I do like that about him. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They say he don't smoke, he don't drink or anything like that. And all he knows is boxing, to be truthfully honest. And that's how
yeah,
they reared him up. So, and he has a beautiful jab. I love his jab, you
yeah.
know. So he does know how to control range and distance. So I feel though that him and Tank will be a good fight. Now, my question is, does he have enough to keep Tank off of him? What do you think when you
I
talk
think
about
that'd be one of
firepower?
the yeah. I'm thinking that would be one of the toughest fights in his career
Yeah.
because of the southpaw stance, the height, the speed. You know what I mean? The power, of course. Tank bring a lot to the table, and I think he just gonna be tough for anybody. You know what I mean? it's hard to say because sometimes when you got to go chase a guy and then you got to back up off him, you know what I mean, that can confuse your muscles and burn you out. So if he not prepared to go forward and backwards, side to side, working circles, you know what I mean, he gonna have a hell of a night on his hands.
See, and that's why I like talking to someone like yourself that's a coach. Because I ain't never heard anybody say stuff like that. You know, you're talking about how it exerts your muscles when you have to go those different ways. You know what I mean? And if that muscle is not trained like that, it'll be tired quickly. That makes a lot of sense. You know, that's that muscle memory. You know what I mean? So yeah, that makes a lot of damn sense. Appreciate that, coach. And the last fight I would love to see is the super fight. I would think that, I'm gonna be honest, I think that Tank beats everybody and him and Shakur have a super fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Shakur got everything in that toolbox right there, you know? I'm gonna be honest, I ain't never seen nobody test his chin, so I don't even know if he has a chin or not. Maybe you'll be more privy to it, you know, because you up in Philly and, you know, he's from New Jersey. So maybe you've seen some sparring, but I know nothing about the kid's chin because he's like the Matrix. Not too many people get to it. You know what I'm saying? And he moves beautifully. He have learned a lot from Terrence Crawford, you know, so I would love to see him and Tank get it on because Tank got to get in there. You know what I'm saying? And Shakur's good from not allowing people to come into that wheelhouse whatsoever. What do you think?
I think it's the same thing as the Haney fight. You know what I mean? They both have a task on their hands. They both southpaw. That's what makes it interesting. And Shakur is very careful about what he does. And, you know what I mean? People don't think he has power, but he does. His power is more so his accuracy, is where he hits you and when he hits you. I think that's what makes him great. Tank, on the other hand, like I said, he could be dangerous for anybody because the combination of speed, the skill set, the athleticism, the power, he could hurt you at any given time with a shot that wasn't that hard. That's why that'll be a great fight, but I can't pick a winner for that fight.
Me either. Me either. Yeah. I can't pick a winner. But I tell you what, I think that's one I like to be there live. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know what I mean? Because that's going to be like a Super Bowl, man, to be truthfully honest. Super Bowl for boxing, you know. Last one, I'm going to let you go, champ. Haney versus Lomachenko.
Yeah. What you think? I think also because of the names, because of the hype, it's going to be a great fight. But I think because also what they bring to the table, boxing ability-wise, what we're going to be looking at is a high-class chess match. The battle of the minds. And I don't think they should take Lomachenko sweep because Lomachenko, he knows he has to work hard. He knows he's going to have to pull something extra out to win this fight. But Devin Haney can't be a slouch about it. You know what I mean? He's going to have to be working behind that jab, but also keeping his distance, not letting Lomachenko get inside. Because get inside, he could rip a combination, you know what I mean, that you might not see, possibly hurt you. He also is, as well as a sneaky puncher, an accurate puncher. But I honestly think because Lomachenko is starting to age out, he's not old, but he's starting to age out because of all the experience. When you fight, I don't know if he really did fight 400 times in the amateurs, but if he did, that's a lot of boxing.
Yes,
that's Lord. A lot of boxing. And then to turn pro, become champion and things like that, that's a lot of boxing. So I think his body is just to the point where he's like, all right, we're going to get ready, but, you know what I mean, we're going to do just enough. So I think if Devin Haney can capitalize on that and use his youth and keep his distance really good, land some combinations here and there throughout the fights, I think he can pull it off.
Well said. Well said. A lot of people are looking at Loma's last fight against Jermaine Ortiz. Yeah. And people are saying, like, you know, Ortiz almost got that one. And they feel, though, that Haney's better than Ortiz. But you can't really look at a fight that way. You know what I mean? Yes, you know, yes.
No.
You can't whatsoever. You know, so, and I like Ortiz, man. He definitely won me over in that particular fight for sure, man. And
he's a good fighter.
Definitely a good fighter. And he's a big kid, too. Definitely a big kid, you know what I mean? So I think that Haney's size, man, is gonna play a important part in this fight as well. I think that was in Loma's mind from the jump when as soon as he mentioned it, man. You know, and if he mentioned it then, you know what I mean? It's like cancer. After a while, that thought spreads if you don't denounce it. You know what I'm saying? And you got that youth. Haney's young. You know what I'm saying? And he's hungry. He has a beautiful jab. I believe if Haney just completely boxes beautifully and everything, we get a unanimous decision on that particular fight. You know, I'm never counting Loma out because Loma can surprise us. You know, but you know, if I'm going to have to go with Haney, pretty much being very smart about that fight and not getting into no you know, engagement where they just bombing out, you know what I'm saying? Because that's not even Haney anyway. So I think he's just going to work behind that beautiful jab of his, man, and impose his will on Loma, you know, in particular things, and keep the fight in the middle of the ring, you know what I'm saying? And I think it'll be fine for him. Well, listen there, bro.
Right.
I appreciate you coming on, man. It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, so let people know what social media platforms that they can follow you on, and anything else you want to say before you roll out, bro.
Greg Hackett 86 on Instagram, Greg Hackett 215 on Twitter, GHB TV on YouTube. I just want everybody to keep working hard, man. Be yourself. You know what I mean? Push for the stars.
My man, my man. Well, this is Jayhardcore, a Hardcore Boxing News, and my man Greg Hackett, and we out of here.
Thank you.